Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Hey, I wanted to share with you some new toys I got today. This will be a quick one, but I got the Spellbinders Betterpress letterpress system, and I just took it out of the box. Mostly, I took it out of the box so you didn't have to listen to all the packaging rattling around and all that. But um, I had seen this advertised and used by I don't know, someone, probably Tim Holtz, anyway, online. And I thought it looked really interesting. And then my good friend Gaz bought one and demoed it on his YouTube channel, Handcrafted by Gaz. If you don't watch his YouTube channel, I recommend it. It's a lot very entertaining and informative. He does some really great stuff. Especially, I love his multimedia stuff. Anyway, um, I saw him use this and he did a little video on it, and I had to have it. So I bought one. And I'm just going to show you how it works real quick. So it's basically like a platen that runs through like a Sizzix. And thankfully I am a craft hoarder. So I didn't get rid of my Sizzix Big Kick die cutting machine a long time ago, which was a good thing because now I need it. And I would have had to buy a new one. So it's a good thing I didn't. So it comes with some shims, which it says to put underneath this gray thing. So I'll do that. And then you'll see it has markings on here. It's a European, so A2, A7, and it has the same markings on here. And what you do is you flip that over. It comes with one, I don't know, die? I don't know what you call it. It's kind of a stamp, but it's metal. It's almost like a foil die, but not. I don't know how to describe it. It's a very thin metal, but it's not sharp like a cutting die. It doesn't cut at all. And you essentially align that, and it comes with some cardstock. So I'm going to start with theirs, and this is watercolor card. I have some other card, but I'll just use theirs to start with. And you essentially put the cardstock on here, and you use these lines line up to the lines on the bottom plate, so that you can arrange it. And it says to use it comes with a roll of essentially low tack tape. I'm just going to use my own because I already have a roll out, and hopefully this will work. And as you can see, I use it multiple times, and then it's not quite so sticky. And so we put that on there. It comes with an ink pad, which I'm going to try their ink. So this is just the little die, and this is magnetic. So once you put that on there, see, it's not going to slide around. And then when I put this upside down, it's going to press that right onto here. And I'll show you what it looks like. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way so I can work. All right, so I'm going to use I'm going to try it with their Betterpress ink first. And so this is just a black ink. And it says just to tap it on there like you would with a stamp. So that's what I'm going to do. And I've never used this before, so we're going to learn together. This is my first look at it. And I'm not pushing hard, I'm just tapping over the top like you would with a stamp. Okay. And then this has little magnetic things that line up. So you just line up those. And then I'll get my big kick in here. And it just goes through. And essentially as you roll it through, it pushes it down to create the impression. And then let's get that out of there. I'm just going to slide this to one side. And let's lift it up and see what it looks like. And look at that. You get an almost perfect impression. The interesting thing about this, and the thing that I really liked about it, is it's different from just a stamp, because you can't see it on the video, but or on the camera, I'm sure. But it's like a professional letterpress where it's actually embossed and stamped into the cardstock. So if you run your finger over it, you can actually feel that it's pressed in. And the only thing that, now that I look at it, that I guess you have to think about is it's kind of backwards. So like I usually like to put my things on this side of the card. So I'm going to have to remember that. So I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to put it on the other side so that it'll show up. And I'm going to go ahead and add a sentiment. Came with some sentiments. It says, to my favorite person, or to my favorite person, to my, how are those different? I think it's the same. I think they both say to my favorite person. That's just one's smaller than the other. Interesting. I guess I'll try them and see what it says. So we're going to put that sentiment down here. And the nice thing is the grid lets you really line things up. And if my card's going to be right in that, put this up here so you can see, in this grid, okay, let's try inking that up again. I guess you can little red circles. Let's try that. That looks like it's doing a little bit better job of inking the stamp. I guess it's kind of like a metal stamp, but it really is like stamping and embossing all at the same time, because it stamps but it pushes into the cardstock, so it gives you kind of a nice emboss. So again, those are pretty strong magnets, so you kind of can't do it wrong. And then we'll just run it through our Sizzix Big Kick. And look at that. Yeah, to my favorite person. Although it's a European, obviously made, because it's spelled wrong for those of us here in the US. And it's a little bit faint. I'm going to try another shim, like a cardstock, another shim underneath, and just see if it needs another shim, just because. But with that. And I'm also going to try when I got this, I got some other, they call them press plates. And I'll show you some of the other ones that I got. So I got this one and that one, and then this big one, which is thank you. So I'm going to try one of these. Maybe I'll try this one. So I'm going to remember that I want it on that side because I like my, and I'm going to put it, or maybe I'm going to put it in the middle, but just up a little bit higher, because then I can put a sentiment underneath. Yeah, maybe right about there, because then I'll have nice room for a sentiment. So let me get another piece of card. And this one, I'm going to try heat embossing because I think I want to watercolor this one. So I got some Harmony Opaque Pigment ink, and I want it a very light color because I want it to look almost like no line coloring, is my thoughts. So let me get some scrap paper, and I need more room. So I'm going to try this opaque pigment ink on it. See how this works. We're learning together. That's on there. Let's run it through. Oh, that looks good. I like the look of that opaque pigment ink. So now I'm going to heat emboss that. But you can kind of see that. Got some paper up here. This is just clear embossing powder. But I want to heat emboss it just to set it. Okay, got that. Honestly, if you didn't heat emboss, that color on the white, I don't know if it shows up that well on the camera, but that is a really classy look. And that's the smoke plume. That looks really nice. I might do another one and just leave it not heat embossed because that just looks really nice. Let me try it on. Now this is just a piece of Crafter's Companion stamping card. And it's not quite, I don't know if it's big enough. Let's see. Let's try it. That's how where it needs to go. I mean, the nice thing is you can flip it over, and since you can see through it, you can pretty easily, before you commit to it, you can decide if it's in the right spot. So you can flip it over and go, yep, that's going to be in the right spot. But I'm going to use that same opaque pigment ink, and I'm just sort of lightly rubbing circles. And I know you can heat emboss. I knew you could heat emboss with, in fact, Gaz did some heat embossing with some like metallics or gold, and it almost looked like foiling. It was really pretty. So let's try it with stamping card. Okay. Oh yeah, that's nice. That looks very nice. It just looks super classy. Not a lot of color to it, but just really nice. Almost a monochrome look. Like, I think you can see that in the camera, but and again, it's just like such a professional printing press almost. So I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. Love the looks of that. Okay, I am going to try, and I'm going to wipe this off. I think to wash these, I'm just going to spray them with some water, and because this is all water reactive ink, so I'll just spray it with some water and clean them off. But for now, I'm just going to set them aside because I don't want to waste your time. Let's see. Let's try the bigger one, and I'm going to try it with some VersaFine ink. Now this one came with some dies, so the dies will cut out this center section with the butterfly, and then or just the butterfly or just the sentiment, which is kind of nice. So if you just wanted that thank you for all that you do sentiment, you could use that, or you can also do it like if you wanted to do the butterfly separately or secondarily, and then decoupage it up. That would also be really, really nice. But I'm going to do the whole thing, and I'm not going to use the dies, so I'm just going to do it like this. And this is a big one, so I need a bigger piece of paper. But again, you can use that grid to just line it up. So that it's straight. Let's get the sentiment in there and line that up. And then once it's in there, the magnet really holds it down. So that's nice. Okay, let's set that to the side. I've got, that one's not quite big enough. And I think this is Nina cardstock, if I remember correctly. And we're just going to center it in there because I had it centered in that A7 slot. And this isn't quite A7, but it's close enough. And let's see. I use waterproof. I think I'm going to try the VersaFine. So this is VersaFine pigment ink. And we'll see how that works. And again, I'm just kind of lightly, I'm not pushing down, it's just sitting on the surface, and I'm swirling it a little bit. And I'm actually doing a pretty good job of keeping my plate clean, shockingly, because I'm kind of a messy crafter sometimes. And those magnets just grab. Let's run it through. And that Nina cardstock is fairly thin, so we'll see if it's going to work or if I needed to put an extra shim in there. No, that worked really well. Oh, I love that VersaFine ink. And you can see I'm just going to trim that down where the plate ends. That's wow. Wow. Love the VersaFine ink. Okay, definitely that's my favorite ink on here. So love that. Anyway, I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm actually going to make a card out of one of these. I'll use the one that I heat embossed, and I think I'll do some watercolor with it, just so that I have a card front that's essentially finished. Okay, so I've made card fronts out of I haven't actually mounted them on cards, but I have finished them up and matte and layered them. Just so you know, I took all of these and I sprayed them with water and then wiped them down with a cloth, and they seem to have come clean, so that was pretty easy to clean up. Fairly simple. Anyway, so here's the first one that I did, just super plain. Just put a sentiment on it. I'm going to have to get some more Betterpress sentiments, that's for sure. But now that I decided I like that, again, it's a combination of stamping and engraving. So you can actually feel that it's depressed, the ink is depressed into the card itself. So it just has a very professional look. Really nice. Anyway, super plain. This is the one that I heat embossed and I watercolored, and I don't love it. I'm not the best watercolorist, so uh, I don't love the color choices I made. I mean, it's okay, but not my favorite. And then this one I also watercolored, but it's not heat embossed. It's just the stamped in with the waterproof ink. And then I did a better job on that one, watercoloring, and I like that one. Other than the sentiment that comes with it, it's obviously from the UK, so it's Favorite instead of Favorite, like we spell in the US. But oh well, it's fine. And then this is the one that I pressed, letter pressed with, or better pressed with the opaque smoke plume ink. And then I colored it with alcohol markers, and you can see that it's almost like no line coloring. I love the way that came out. You can kind of see the lines a little bit in the lighter colors, but not much. And in this flower, you can't see it at all. So it really looks quite artistic. I love the way that looks. And then this one I did with alcohol markers as well, but I didn't color it completely in, other than the butterfly, which I liked that because it really makes it pop. I may actually press that one and color it again, and then it came with a die, and I might die cut it and decoupage it up. I think that would look really nice. But the rest of these, I just kind of flicked with my Illustrator marker, just a little bit of color, either in the pink, the green, or the yellow, just to give it a hint of color. And I actually really, really like that. Um, I like it actually better than, where I colored it completely in. So anyway, that's my first go at the Betterpress. I have to say I love it. I'm going to be using it a bunch more. So anyway, talk to you soon.